Pope.
Here. I see we don't have any citizens other than the attorneys here. I don't believe there's any comments there. Comments from city staff?
Yes, sir, just not in regards to today's meeting, but I do anticipate next month, if not next month, and the following month, we will probably have a meeting for two applications. One will be the property here on the corner, Casper's, and there's another one I'm forgetting right now, but I do anticipate having a meeting in the next month to 2 months.
Any comments from members of the board? Do we need to do approval on last meeting? I don't see it on the.
Not for a special call meeting, no.
Okay, thank you. Seeing there's no old business, we'll go to the new business. For a violation, it's Fun Eats and Drinks LLC, 853 Camino Del Mar, California. Doing business is Fox and Hound at 786 Rivergate Parkway. They're here on a violation of City of Goodlettsville Municipal Code Title 8, Chapter 2, Section 210, Subsection 1A, operates a disorderly place. Requires a permittee to operate an orderly place of business. Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Over the past, I'd say anywhere between several to a few months, there has been a significant increase in calls for service for our police department. Not only are there calls for service, but they are calls for service that relate to an unruly establishment. And for that reason, since this group, Fun Eats and Drinks, has a beer permit through this board in the city of Goodlettsville, felt the need for them to appear before the beer board to explain those issues and any corrective action. But at this time, I have asked our police chief, Chief Gary Goodwin, to kind of lay out the issues that have occurred and anything else he would like to say.
Thank you. The reason we brought this issue to light is we actually had on, I think, back-to-back weeks or close to back-to-back weeks, we had two aggravated assaults occur, one involving shots being fired outside the club and one involving a subject that was severely beaten about the face with a cue ball that required them to be transported to the hospital. So as I look back at the call history there, and that's what you have is the CAD report, there was actually numerous fight calls reported, disorderly conduct calls, disturbance calls that were concerning. In addition to that, even some of the other things, types of calls that we were receiving there, even the assist fire department were on three separate subjects, three separate dates, that people were intoxicated to the point that they were passing out. And so it was not only a drain on the police department, but also tying up fire and EMS to have to respond to situations like that are obviously evidence of over-serving. So there was even a vandalism call that when you look at the text of the call and realize what's going on, it's a subject that's obviously involved in a domestic argument situation, and he's intoxicated to the point that he breaks out the window to his own car. So it's just, there was just a pattern there, and then with the aggravated assaults, it just seemed like it was starting to get worse and worse. And so we just took this action to try to bring it to a better resolution and see if we couldn't work something out. The good news in all this is before we could even get to this step, Reed Hunley reached out to me, and he's now responsible for running the establishment till he can hire a new management team. He was very concerned about this. took it very seriously and wanted to know exactly what the issues were. And as you all have seen, the recommendations that they're wanting to put in place certainly says to me that they take this serious and that they're going to try to do everything they can to get this where it needs to be. So I'm very appreciative of their response, and it's what we were hoping to achieve. So that's pretty much it, unless there's any questions.
Board have any questions of the chief? Would you two step forward to the mic and identify yourself and your connection to the business, please?
Good morning. My name is Eric Evans. I'm an attorney at Adams and Reese, just down the road in Nashville. We are regulatory counsel to Fun Eats and Drinks, doing business as the Fox and the Hound.
Morning, my name is Reed Hunley. I am the district manager for Kelly Operations Group, which is Fun Eats and Drinks.
Okay. Would you like to respond to?
Yes, briefly. So we appreciate the time to address this matter. It is not lost on Fun Eats and Drinks that we are at an inflection point with this location. It is, as Chief Goodwin said, a drain on police resources, fire resources, EMT resources, this board's time and energy. And while it is unfortunate and regrettable that we have gotten to this point, the fact of the matter is the letter that came out on March 14th has catalyzed and focused the attention of Fun Eats and Drinks on righting this ship. It is time for a culture change here, and that is exactly what they are proposing to do. Admittedly, they were unaware of the vast issues at this location, and while that is not something that they can change, they are trying to change things moving forward. I think it's important to note as well that a lot of the corrective action that we identified in the letter is not necessarily specific to these incidences, but are things that are typically happening at Fox and the Hound locations and other Fun Eats and Drinks locations, designed to prevent the type of conduct that was occurring that simply were not put in place by the prior management. Mr. Hunley here is the district manager. He has taken over the operations in the interim while he searches for qualified candidates. And his experience with the Fox and the Hound, including their location in Memphis, and running, for lack of a better term, a tight ship, is going to be instrumental in implementing the changes that we've outlined in this letter. Fox and the Hound, Fun Eats and Drinks, is committed to changing the culture at this location, and Mr. Hunley is going to be an integral part of doing that, and is going to be responsible for implementing all of the corrective action in the letter. And I'm happy to turn it over to Mr. Hunley as well. If you have any questions, we're happy to address those.
Mr. Hunley?
May I ask one question real quick? What is Kelly Operations Group?
Kelly Group, that's our umbrella company. So like, I technically work for Kelly Operations Group. This is a subsidiary of them.
Okay, so Fun Eats and Drinks, how's that associated with that? I'm kind of lost at this point.
I can, if you like.
Yeah.
So Fun Eats and Drinks is a subsidiary of Kelly.
Okay.
And they're the operator of
Okay.
Fox and the Hound.
That came out, it's the first time we've heard it, or I heard it, so I just want to get clarification on that.
Yes, understood.
Mr. Hunley, do you have any comments?
Yes, sir. You know, everything that we're doing right now is part of culture. It's part of our four walls. We have to begin within the building. I've been within restaurants, within Fox and Hounds for multiple years, as was said back in Memphis. I was the general manager at a location. You know, what we are putting in place is something specific for the location, you know, to combat some of the individuals that are coming in that we no longer want to be coming into our building. So that has added another level that we are stepping up. But at the end of the day, you know, my job is to oversee this location at this point, and my track record with my prior locations and just knowing what the culture should be like inside that building and how that can reflect on, you know, not just ourselves, but, you know, the community itself as well. And, you know, we're here to be part of that community, and I don't see anything that we can do, that we can't do, that can correct these actions.
What areas have you worked? Have you worked in the Nashville area at other locations?
Yes, sir. I came to Nashville. I've been here 4 years. We have a location downtown on Broadway. We have 2 locations on Broadway. Lucky Bastard Saloon. I was a general manager there. So when I was in Memphis, I was a general manager. I was brought up here to run Lucky Bastards. And then a year ago, I was moved over to Whiskey River Saloon as general manager over there, and then recently promoted to the district manager, overseeing multiple units here in the Nashville area.
Okay. Members of the board, any of you have questions for either of these 2 gentlemen? Mr. Freeman, do you have any questions, comments?
Yes, one thing, I know the classification is restaurant, and within the letter that was sent to everyone, well, sent to the city, it talks about a cordoned off area for the issue of the smoking, and where you, I assume there's no smoking inside because of the food service.
Yes, sir.
So people have to go outside and smoke, and you talked about a cordoned off area, and the way I understand that to be defined is it's specifically walled off, fenced, or something of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We have an area outside, directly outside of our front doors that we specifically rope off with stanchions on Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights for people to go in that area and smoke. What that does is it allows us, with a security guard out front, to basically help contain the amount of times that people are entering and exiting the building and knowing what those people are doing. So within our 4 walls, we have the culture to change. Outside of the building, we have the people that we need to keep out, that if they're leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back, those are the people that we can't keep letting in because, you know, what are they doing in their vehicles? You know, that's the challenge for us. So that's why specifically we made the smoke area so people could go to the smoke area, be there, and then come back in, and they are known that that's what they were doing and not going to their vehicles.
Is there alcohol served in the smoking area?
No, sir. No alcohol
So
can be
you're
taken
not
outside.
allowed to leave the building with your alcoholic beverage and go out onto
No,
the
sir.
smoking area and drink?
Nope.
When did that go into effect?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Because I can tell you, 4 weeks ago, it was not that way.
Where is this area again outside? Sidewalk, parking lot?
Sidewalk.
Okay. Any issues with the sidewalk being, I know a lot of the businesses will be closed and so forth. but-
You know, I've not looked at the master lease to see if that was in any way some sort of violation to block the sidewalk from any and all patrons of the other businesses or establishments that are there. I know we have an ordinance within our city, you can't block or obstruct a public sidewalk, but I'm not so sure this would classify. So basically, it looks to me like it's sort of almost like a temporary with the, as we call them, you know, the cattle gate type stuff that you see where you got the 3.5 foot 4 fencing with the stanchions at the bottom, or is it just like a little caution tape area that says, here's where you gotta smoke?
It's a stanchion area, so like a stanchion, you know, it has the rope that comes and attaches, that stanchions off like that specific area.
Okay, black post with the pole, like the airport type stuff, okay.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about your staffing. What is your staffing level right now?
We currently have, for the front of the house, we have 4 servers and 5 bartenders.
And I noticed you put in here that you're gonna have additional people. What's your staffing plan for how many?
So our goal is to hire 4 more servers and 1 more bartender.
I have another question about the security guards. How are your security guards gonna be identified?
Security guards, they have a security jacket that they wear. They're armed security guards. It says security on them.
Has that changed since you taken over?
No,
Because
it
I think
has
there
not.
were some
We have changed,
deficiencies, I guess, as simple as what it said, previously.
we have changed security teams or security companies in the past 2 weeks as well.
Who is your security company?
It's called Tier 1 Security.
And as I understand, on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, you're gonna have an additional security person, is that correct?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, we have 3 security guards.
Okay. And did you say the armed security? I'm sorry, I couldn't, okay,
sir.
just want to clarify that. Have any other comments?
One other thing, I noticed that you said you're gonna have a camera system, and it's gonna be able to store for how long?
We do have a camera system. The camera system records for a month, so 30 days.
And in the event there is a situation that's necessary, are y'all gonna be able to share that with the police department?
Yes, sir. We can capture and record and send off any videos that we need.
I have nothing further.
I just have one comment. Mr. Bell and I both have retired from our careers with the Goodlettsville Police Department. So we have way too many years combined, what, 30, 40, 87, something like that, 77, something like that. This is the first time I can remember getting something like this letter that you have sent, update with the immediate changes that you made. And I understand that corporate was not aware of a lot of this going on. And I just want to thank you for this information. That's very helpful in to the deliberations we're having today. Any other comments from anyone?
I do have one other question. So you're still a regional manager as well?
I'm the district manager. yes,
District
sir.
manager? So how often, what's your time frame in staying at this location? Until you hire new people, or?
Yes and no. So I will train them as well. So training's a 5-week process. So anybody that I hire, I'll be in the building training them right there with them. So it all just depends on how long I can get them or how quickly I can get them in. I do have a gentleman that I've sent out an offer to, so quickly. But at the end of the day, you know, as a district manager, my district is only Nashville. So I'm not a stay-at-home work kind of guy, so I'll be in the locations a lot.
As far as I know, this is the first time they've been before the Bureau Board for any violation. Is that correct? Anybody remember anything?
No, so there was one in, 2017 or 18.
Okay.
They were before us. It's long enough that it really doesn't play into this matter.
Right. Do I hear a motion from any board member?
Well, first of all, I'd say the plan looks good if it's workable. I don't know how the city feels or the police department feels about it, but if it works, that'd be great. And since you're making all the changes, I think maybe there should be a probation time to give him a chance to see if his plan's gonna work.
Well, I realize that technically the board can't have a probationary period. So I think what I would like to see is maybe to defer this for 4 months, and then we'll come back and revisit it. If everything is in place and running smoothly, as we hope it will be, and I'll just have to say, this right here that they're putting in place is what we were hoping for. So we're accomplishing the goal of what we wanted to see as a police department. So I just want to give them a chance to implement it. Let's make sure it's running good. If we see that it is, then obviously I could just come back and update the board and not even trouble them to have to come back unless there's an issue. So but I know I don't have a vote, but that's just kind of how I feel. So, but whatever the board chooses to do.
Any other comments?
With,
Questions?
if deferral is being considered by the board, I think, with the 4-month period is recommended, but certainly with the option that if, how fast are things going to get better is the question. What's going to be different about this Friday night than 2 weeks ago, or the last time the police had to show up? So with the ability to obviously bring them back in for any updates, obviously between now and then, rather than just put it off a full 4 months. I think this board would have that ability, so I just want to let everybody know that even though we're deferring this 4 months, if that's the choice, that certainly if there's other issues that can be brought on new violations.
Well, and I will say this, if it does not look like it is correcting itself, and let me clearly say, we're not so naive to know that there may be times that you have to call a police officer. I mean, that's the nature of the business. And we ask you not to call a police officer just because of that either. But if it is truly determined that there's a pattern that this is not improving, my intent is to call an emergency meeting of this body with 48 hours notice to the public. And my recommendation would be suspension of license to whatever permit until whichever time this board deems fit. So next time around, it's not going to be 30 days, it's going to be 48 hours, which state statute allows us to do.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we'll defer this for the 4-month period unless there's some activity that requires us to have an emergency meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments? If no other comments, I declare the meeting adjourned. Ta-da. Headed Arkansas.